Commander Jake Morrison stared at his scanner screen and rubbed his 4 eyes in disbelief. The readings made no sense. His ship, the Starweave, had been patrolling this empty region of space near the Vega Nebula for 3 years. Nothing ever happened here. The space was empty, cold and boring. That was exactly why the Galactic Trade Consortium used it as a patrol route for new officers. But now, his instruments showed something impossible. Massive energy readings were coming from absolutely nothing. The scanner said there was a huge object right in front of them, but Jake could see only empty space through the viewport. His tentacles moved nervously across the control panel as he checked the readings again. Officer Zara, run a full diagnostic on the scanners. Jake called to his second-in-command. The young Al-3 female moved quickly to her station, her silver skin shimmering under the ship's lights. "Commander, the scanners are working perfectly," Zara reported after a few minutes. "But sir, these readings are impossible. The gravity signatures suggest something the size of a small moon, but there is nothing there." Jake felt his stomach sink. In his 12 years of service, he had never seen anything like this. The energy readings were growing stronger by the minute. Whatever was happening, it was getting bigger. "Send an emergency signal to Trade Consortium headquarters," he ordered. "Tell them we have unknown energy signatures in Sector 77 Alpha." Before Zara could respond, space itself began to twist in front of their ship. Jake watched in horror as reality seemed to fold like paper. The stars stretched and bent in ways that hurt to look at. The emptiness in front of them began to ripple like water. "Commander, the energy reading just increased by 300%, Zara shouted over the growing alarm sounds from their instruments. Jake gripped his command chair as their ship began to shake. The twisted space in front of them grew larger and brighter. It looked like someone was tearing a hole in the universe itself. Through the growing tear, he could see something dark moving. "All crew, prepare for emergency jump," Jake commanded. But before anyone could move, something massive began pushing through the tear in space. First came a dark metal nose that looked bigger than Jake's entire ship. Then more of the massive object emerged. It was a ship, but unlike anything Jake had ever seen. The hull was black metal, covered in strange markings and battle scars. Huge weapon ports lined its sides. The ship kept coming and coming through the tear, until Jake realized it was over 1 kilometer long. "By the ancient stars," Zara whispered. "What is that thing, Jake?" Had no answer. The massive ship finished emerging from the twisted space, and the tear sealed behind it like it had never existed. The giant vessel hung motionless in front of them, its hull reflecting their ship's lights. Jake could see windows and docking bays that suggested this ship carried thousands of crew members. "Commander, I am reading human energy signatures," Zara reported, her voice shaking. "This is a human vessel." Jake felt his blood turn cold. Humans were barely 200 years into space travel. They had small ships, basic weapons, and simple technology. This massive warship was far beyond anything humans should be able to build. The Trade Consortium classified humans as a minor species, interesting, but not important. "That cannot be." "Correct," Jake said. "Run the scan again." "Sir, I've run it 5 times. The energy signatures, the metal composition, even the life support systems, all match human technology. But this ship is impossible. Humans do not have technology like this." Suddenly, their communication system activated. A voice spoke in clear galactic standard, but with the accent that Jake recognized as human. "Not a known vessel. This is Captain Lisa Warren of the human ship HMS Defiance. Please identify yourself and state your intentions." Jake stared at the communication panel. The voice was calm and professional, as if appearing from folded space was perfectly normal. He activated the response channel with shaking hands. "This is Commander Jake Morrison of the Galactic Trade Consortium vessel, Starweave. Captain Warren, we were not aware that humans possessed ships of this size or technology level." There was a long pause before Captain Warren responded. "Commander Morrison, the HMS Defiance has been on a classified mission for the past 37 years. We are currently attempting to contact human command structures to report our return." Jake tried to process this information. This massive ship had been missing for longer than he had been alive. But where had it been, and how had humans developed such advanced technology in secret? Captain Warren, with respect, this vessel appears to possess technology far beyond current human capabilities. The Trade Consortium will need to verify your claims. Another pause. When Captain Warren spoke again, her voice carried a hint of amusement. Commander, I understand your confusion. The Defiance was part of a classified human research program called Project Deep Reach. We have been conducting experiments in dimensional space-time manipulation. Our mission has been successful. Beyond our original expectations, Jake felt his world shifting. Dimensional space-time manipulation was theoretical even among the most advanced species in the galaxy. The Althari Collective had been studying it for thousands of years without success. If humans had actually mastered this technology, everything the Trade Consortium believed about galactic power structures was wrong. Commander Morrison, Captain Warren continued, we will be transmitting our identification codes and mission reports to both human and consortium authorities. In the meantime, we request safe passage to establish communication with Earth. Jake looked at his scanner readings again. The massive human ship showed energy signatures that were off the charts. Its weapon systems alone appeared more powerful than his entire patrol fleet. If this was what humans could build in secret, what else had they been hiding? Captain Warren, you have safe passage, Jake replied. But I must warn you that your ship's appearance will cause significant concern among consortium members. Ships of this capability could shift the balance of power in the galaxy. Understood, Commander. We have been aware of this possibility throughout our mission. The HMS Defiance was built specifically to change humanity's position in galactic affairs when the time was right. Jake watched as the massive ship began moving past them with impossible grace for something so large. Its engines produced no visible exhaust, but space itself seemed to bend around the vessel as it moved. This was technology that could revolutionize space travel for every species in the galaxy as the HMS Defiance disappeared into the distance. Jake began composing his emergency report to Consortium headquarters. The galaxy had just changed forever, and nobody was ready for what was coming next. The humans, whom everyone had dismissed as a minor species, had just announced themselves as a major power with technology that seemed like magic. The quiet patrol route near the Vega Nebula would never be quiet again. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood in the command center of Earth's Deep Space Command. Staring at the message that had just arrived from the Vega Nebula, after 37 years of silence, the HMS Defiance had finally made contact. The massive display screen showed Captain Lisa Warren's face, older than Kate remembered, but with the same determined expression. Admiral Sullivan. This is Captain Warren reporting the successful completion of Project Deep Reach Phase 1. The Defiance is operational and requesting permission to proceed with Phase 2 protocols. Kate felt her hand shake as she processed the words. Project Deep Reach had been the most classified program in human history. Only 12 people in the entire government knew it existed. The project had cost more money than most planets produced in a decade, and many had called it impossible. Stations, this is Admiral Sullivan. Clear this facility of all non-essential personnel immediately. Authorization code Alpha 77. Within minutes, the command center emptied except for Kate and her most trusted officers. She activated the quantum communication system that connected directly to the Defiance. The technology itself was a product of early Deep Reach research. Lisa, it is good to see you alive, Kate said into the communication device. But your timing could not be worse. Half the galaxy is already demanding explanations for your ship. Captain Warren smiled on the screen. Kate, we knew this day would come. The Defiance was always meant to announce humanity's true capabilities when the time was right. That time is now. Kate pulled up the intelligence reports that had been flooding. And for the past 6 hours, every major species in the galaxy was mobilizing their fleets. The Keth Empire had declared a state of military alert. The Althari Collective was demanding immediate access to human dimensional technology. Even the peaceful Zephyr Coalition was calling emergency sessions. Lisa, they are terrified. The Trade Consortium is calling your ship impossible. Some species are talking about preemptive strikes against human colonies. Then we need to move quickly, Captain Warren replied. Admiral, it is time to reveal the full scope of Project Deep Reach. The Defiance is not alone. Kate felt the blood drain from her face. She had always suspected there were other ships, but confirmation still shocked her. How many, Lisa? 17. Operational supercarriers, Admiral. Each one equipped with dimensional drive technology and defensive systems that exceed anything in the known galaxy. We have been building this fleet in dimensional space for 4 decades. On the other side of the galaxy, Ambassador Helen Carter sat in an emergency session of the Galactic Council. Representatives from every major species surrounded her, their faces showing mixtures of anger, fear, and confusion. She had been humanity's diplomatic representative for 8 years, but nothing had prepared her for this moment. Ambassador Carter, spoke Zektar the Wise, the ancient leader of the Althari Collective. His purple skin showed the stress patterns. That indicated extreme agitation. Your species has deceived the entire galaxy. This ship represents technology that should not exist. Helen kept her voice calm and steady. Honored Zektar, humanity has never lied about our capabilities. We simply chose not to reveal the full extent of our research programs. Research programs, shouted Warlord Kethanel, his massive form rising from his seat. That ship disabled. Our patrol fleet without firing a single shot. Our sensors cannot even understand how it moves through space. Helen had received the reports about the encounter with the Keth Patrol. The Defiance had demonstrated its defensive capabilities by using some kind of energy field that simply stopped the Keth ships without damaging them. The Keth Empire prided itself on having the most powerful military in the galaxy, but their ships had been made helpless in seconds. The HMS Defiance used non-lethal defensive measures, Helen explained. Captain Warren could have destroyed your entire fleet, but chose restraint instead. The council chamber erupted in angry voices from a dozen species. Helen waited for the chaos to die down before continuing. The human government is prepared to share our technological advances with peaceful species, but we will not be bullied or threatened. The days of treating humanity as a minor power are over. Back on Earth, Prime Minister Victoria Lane paced in her office as reports flooded in from across human space. Every human colony was reporting visits from alien fleets demanding explanations. Some colonies were under virtual blockade as alien. Governments tried to pressure Earth into surrendering the Defiance. Admiral Sullivan, we need to make a statement, Victoria said during their emergency call. The colonies are scared, and our trade partners are threatening to cut all agreements. Kate nodded. Madam Prime Minister, Captain Warren is requesting permission to demonstrate the full capabilities of the Defiance. She believes a show of strength will calm the situation faster than words. What kind of demonstration? The kind that will make it clear that threatening human colonies is not a wise choice. Meanwhile, aboard the HMS Defiance, Captain Warren stood on the bridge watching her crew prepare for what would become the most important moment in human history. Dr. Ryan Hayes, her chief science officer, monitored the dimensional drive systems. That made their ship possible. Captain, all systems are ready for demonstration protocols, Dr. Hayes reported. The dimensional generators are operating at full capacity. Very good, Doctor. Open a channel to all ships in this sector. Within moments, Captain Warren was speaking to representatives from 6 different species whose ships had gathered to observe the mysterious human vessel. This is Captain Warren of the HMS Defiance. Recent events have created confusion about human technological capabilities. To prevent misunderstandings that could lead to conflict, we will now demonstrate the peaceful applications of our dimensional research. Captain Warren nodded to her crew. Engage dimensional fold drive. Destination: Earth orbit. Space twisted around the massive ship as it activated technology that bent the laws of physics. To the watching alien vessels, the Defiance simply vanished from their sensors. One moment it was there, the next it was gone without any energy signature or residual effects. 30 seconds later, the ship reappeared in Earth orbit, 800 light-years away. The demonstration had covered a distance that should have taken months in mere seconds. Every government in the galaxy received sensor data, confirming the impossible journey. General Marcus Webb, Earth's military liaison, watched the demonstration. From the surface, Admiral Sullivan, every species in the galaxy just realized that their concept of distance and travel time is obsolete. If humans can move ships anywhere in the galaxy instantly, traditional military thinking becomes meaningless. Kate nodded grimly. Marcus, the galaxy just learned that humanity has been playing by different rules for 40 years. Now we find out if they want to learn new rules, or if they prefer to fight a war they cannot win. Across the galaxy, the political landscape shifted in real time. Species that had dominated through military might suddenly faced the reality that their fleets could be bypassed entirely. Trade routes that had been established for thousands of years became irrelevant when humans could travel anywhere instantly. The age of human emergence had begun, and nothing would ever be the same. Warlord Kethanel stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Iron Thunder, surrounded by the largest battle fleet the Keth Empire had assembled in 50 years. 200 warships stretched across space in perfect formation, their weapons charged and ready. The massive alien commander's red skin showed the dark patterns that indicated extreme anger. "Send the message to the humans again," he ordered his communications officer. "They have 24 hours to surrender the ship called Defiance for inspection, or we will take it by force." The Keth Empire had dominated the eastern spiral arm of the galaxy for over 1,000 years through superior military power. No species had ever challenged their authority and survived. Kethanel refused to believe that the weak humans could change this reality with one ship, no matter how advanced it appeared. "Sir, we are receiving a response from the human vessel." The communications officer reported. Captain Lisa Warren's image appeared on the main screen. She looked calm and professional, as if facing the largest battle fleet in the galaxy was a normal part of her day. Behind her, Kethanel could see the bridge of the Defiance, with human crew members working quietly at their stations. "Warlord Kethanel, this is Captain Warren. I have received your ultimatum. I respectfully decline to surrender my ship." Kethanel's anger flared hotter. "Human, you face 200 of the most powerful warships ever built. Your one ship cannot stand against the might of the Keth Empire." Captain Warren smiled slightly. "Warlord, I do not wish to fight you. But if you insist on a demonstration of our defensive capabilities, I will provide one. However, I guarantee that no Keth lives will be lost in this encounter." "You speak boldly for someone about to die," Kethanel snarled. "All ships attack formation. Prepare to disable the human vessel." On the bridge of the Defiance, Colonel Steve Mitchell monitored the approaching Keth fleet from his tactical station. The veteran officer had helped design the ship's defensive systems during the long years in dimensional space. He looked forward to finally testing them against a real threat. "Captain, the Keth ships are moving into attack positions," Colonel Mitchell reported. "Their weapons are charging to full power." Captain Warren nodded calmly. "Very well, Colonel. Activate Defensive Screen Alpha. Ensure all systems are set to non-lethal response only." Captain. "Non-lethal systems activated." Dr. Sam Peterson, the ship's xenobiologist, watched from his science station as energy readings from the Keth fleet reached dangerous levels. His job was to monitor alien crew reactions during the demonstration. The data would help human command understand how different species responded to their technology. "Captain, I am reading elevated stress levels from all Keth vessels," Dr. Peterson reported. "Their life signs indicate they believe they are about to win an easy victory." Meanwhile, Commander Amy Roberts sat in her fighter craft in the Defiance's main hangar bay. Her squadron of 40 advanced fighters was ready to launch, if needed. But Captain Warren had assured her that this demonstration would not require fighter support. "All pilots remain on standby," Amy announced to her squadron. "The captain expects this to be over quickly." Back on the Keth flagship, Warlord Kethanel raised his massive fist. "All ships, open fire. Show these humans the price of defying the Keth Empire." 200 warships fired simultaneously. The space around the Defiance erupted in brilliant light as energy beams and plasma torpedoes streaked toward the human vessel. The combined firepower was enough to destroy a small moon, but as the weapons reached the Defiance, something impossible happened. A shimmering barrier appeared around the human ship, and every energy beam simply stopped. The plasma torpedoes froze in space as if hitting an invisible wall. The massive barrage hung motionless around the Defiance like deadly fireworks that had forgotten to explode. "What is happening?" Cathenal roared at his science officer. "Sir, our weapons have been halted by some kind of energy field."
Our readings
"Make no sense. It appears to be manipulating space-time itself to create an impenetrable barrier." On the Defiance, Colonel Mitchell calmly monitored the defensive systems. "Captain, all incoming fire has been neutralized. The temporal displacement field is holding perfectly." "Excellent, Colonel. Now let us show them what happens to ships that attack peaceful vessels. Activate tractor pulse, wide dispersal pattern." Colonel Mitchell smiled as he activated the next phase of their demonstration. "Tractor pulse activated, Captain, targeting all Keth vessels." Across the Keth battle fleet, ships suddenly found themselves unable to move. An invisible force had grabbed every vessel simultaneously and held them motionless in space. Engine power meant nothing against the grip that had seized them. "Engineering report," Cathenal demanded. "Sir, we are caught in some kind of gravitational field. Our engines are running at full power, but we cannot move in any direction." Warlord Cathenal watched in growing horror as his entire fleet hung helpless in space. 200 of the most powerful warships ever built had been stopped by a human vessel, without taking any damage. His weapons could not touch the enemy, and his ships could not move. Captain Warren's voice came over the communication system again. "Warlord Cathenal, your fleet is now completely under our control. Could destroy every ship instantly, but we choose not to. This is humanity's way of warfare. We do not kill when we can simply stop our enemies." "This is impossible," Cathenal whispered. "No species has technology like this." "The human species has been developing this technology for 4 decades, Captain," Warren explained patiently. "We chose to work in secret until we were ready to reveal our true capabilities. That time has now come." On the Defiance, Dr. Peterson monitored the Keth life signs with growing satisfaction. "Captain, the alien crew are showing signs of complete shock. Their stress levels indicate they have never experienced anything like this." Captain Warren nodded. "Good. Fear can be useful, but respect is better." Colonel Mitchell released their ships but leave their weapons offline. "Aye, Captain." Releasing tractor hold, maintaining weapon suppression field. Across the Keth fleet, ships suddenly found they could move again, but their weapons remained dead. Cathenal tried to order his fleet to continue the attack, but nothing happened when his gunners pulled their triggers. "Your weapons will remain offline for the next 6 hours, Captain Warren announced. "This will give you time to reconsider your approach to human relations. We suggest you use this time wisely." With that, the Defiance simply vanished. One moment it was there, the next it was gone, leaving 200 Keth warships floating helplessly in space with no weapons and no target. "Warlord." Cathenal stared at the empty space where the human ship had been. His entire understanding of military power had just been shattered. The humans had not just defeated his fleet, they had made it irrelevant. It could appear anywhere, defend against anything, and disable entire fleets without firing a shot. For the first time in his long military career, Cathenal understood what it meant to be truly outmatched. The galaxy had just learned that humanity was no longer a minor species to be ignored or bullied. They were now the most powerful military force anyone had ever seen. The demonstration was over, but the real changes were just beginning. 3 months after the HMS Defiance first appeared near the Vega Nebula, the galaxy looked completely different. Captain Lisa Warren stood in the Grand Assembly Hall of the new Galactic Cooperation Center, a massive space station that humans had built in just 6 weeks using their dimensional construction technology. Representatives from every major species in the galaxy sat around a circular table, but now they listened when the human captain spoke. "The Dimensional Gateway Project is ready for testing," Captain Warren announced to the assembled delegates. "Any species that wishes to participate in the exploration beyond our galaxy may join the mission." Ambassador Helen Carter watched the faces around the table with satisfaction. The same alien leaders who had demanded humanity surrender its technology 3 months ago were now competing to be included in human research projects. The shift in power had been swift and complete. Zector the Wise, the ancient Althari leader, leaned forward in his chair. His purple skin no longer showed the stress patterns of fear, but rather the bright colors of excitement. Captain Warren, the Althari Collective is honored to contribute our scientific knowledge to this endeavor. We have studied dimensional theory for thousands of years. Your expertise will be valuable, Honored Dektar, Captain Warren replied diplomatically. Dr. Ryan Hayes will coordinate with your scientists to ensure safe integration of our technologies. At the far end of the table, Warlord Kethanol sat quietly. The massive warrior looked smaller somehow, his red skin showing patterns of deep thought rather than anger. The encounter with the Defiance had changed him profoundly. His empire still commanded respect, but now it focused on protection and peacekeeping rather than conquest. Captain Warren Kethanol spoke carefully. The Keth Empire wishes to provide security vessels for the expedition. Our ships may not match human technology, but our warriors are experienced in defending against unknown threats. Captain Warren nodded respectfully. Your offer is accepted, Warlord. Courage and experience cannot be replaced by technology alone. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the effects of humanity's emergence continued to spread. Trade routes that had existed for millennia were being redrawn as human dimensional gates made distance irrelevant. Species that had been separated by months of travel could now communicate and trade instantly on the planet Althari Prime. Dr. Sam Peterson worked alongside alien scientists and laboratories that combined human dimensional technology with thousands of years of alien research. The cooperation was producing discoveries that neither species could have achieved alone. The dimensional resonance patterns are stabilizing, reported Dr. Vexani, the lead Althari physicist. Your construction techniques are allowing us to build instruments we only dreamed of before. Dr. Peterson smiled as he watched readings that would have been impossible just months ago. And your theoretical work is helping us understand why our technology works. Together, we are achieving things neither of our species imagined. Back at the Galactic Cooperation Center, Prime Minister Victoria Lane arrived for the official signing of the new Galactic Charter. The document would establish humanity as an equal partner with the ancient civilizations while creating frameworks for shared exploration and development. Admiral Sullivan, are you certain we are ready for this level of responsibility? Victoria asked as they prepared for the ceremony. Admiral Kate Sullivan looked out at the assembled fleet of ships from dozens of species, all working together for the first time in galactic history. Madame Prime Minister, we have been preparing for this moment for 40 years. The Defiance was never just about building a powerful ship. It was about proving that cooperation works better than conquest. The signing ceremony brought together leaders who had been enemies for centuries, the Keth Empire, the Althari Collective, the Zephyr Coalition, and dozens of smaller species all committed to working together under human leadership for the greater exploration project. As the ceremony concluded, Captain Warren received a priority message from the Dimensional Research Station hidden in the space between galaxies. Commander Amy Roberts, now leading the Advanced Scout Program, appeared on the communication screen with news that would change everything again. Captain Warren, our long-range dimensional probes have detected something extraordinary. We have found evidence of other galaxy clusters, and some of them show signs of advanced civilizations. Captain Warren felt the familiar excitement of discovery that had driven her through decades of secret research. How advanced, Commander? Their dimensional signatures suggest technology that makes our current capabilities look primitive. Captain, we may not be the most advanced species in the universe after all. The news spread quickly through the assembled delegates. Instead of fear, however, the reaction was excitement. The galaxy had learned that cooperation and shared knowledge produced better results than competition and secrecy.
Alvin.
This changes our mission parameters, announced Sektar the Wise. If there are civilizations more advanced than any of us, we must approach them as a united galaxy rather than as separate species. Warlord Kethanol stood and placed his massive hand on the table. The Keth Empire pledges its full military support to this endeavor. If we face unknown threats, we face them together. Dr. Ryan Hayes, monitoring the dimensional readings from the new discoveries, looked up from his instruments with wonder. Captain, the energy signatures suggest these civilizations have been watching us for a very long time. Our emergence may have attracted their attention. Captain Warren considered this information carefully. Human strategy of patient development and careful revelation had worked well with the species in their own galaxy. But approaching truly advanced civilizations would require even more wisdom. Then we will do what humanity has always done best, she decided. We will learn, adapt, and earn our place through cooperation rather than force. Admiral Sullivan activated the fleet-wide communication system. All vessels, this is Admiral Sullivan. Begin preparation for the greatest exploration mission in galactic history. We go not as conquerors or supplicants, but as representatives of a united galaxy, seeking knowledge and friendship. Across the assembled fleet, crews from dozens of species work together to prepare for a journey beyond their galaxy. Human dimensional. Technology made the voyage possible, but alien expertise in countless fields made it safe and productive. The HMS Defiance took its place at the head of the fleet. No longer a hidden weapon, but a symbol of what could be achieved through patient development and wise leadership. The ship that had emerged from dimensional space 3 months ago had not just changed the balance of power in the galaxy. It had created a new model for how different species could work together, as the massive fleet prepared to depart for regions beyond any known star map. Captain Warren reflected on the long journey that had brought them to this moment. Project Deep Reach had succeeded beyond their wildest dreams, not just by creating powerful technology, but by proving that humanity's greatest strength was their ability to unite others in common cause. The galaxy was no longer a collection of competing species fighting over territory and resources. It had become a united civilization ready to take its place among the stars. Led by the species that had chosen cooperation over conquest and wisdom over force, the real adventure was just beginning.